the GS will come forward to present the reworked formulation. We will not read the entire declaration afresh, but we will read the ones that were additions and the important ones. The rest will go to the program of action. No, but I don't know if comrades, the team can change it into black. The color here.
Thank you, Comrade President. Comrades, especially at the back, I'll just give you the leverage to understand what's written. The end of the declaration, the first part is as we presented. As Comrade President indicated, there were further areas that we think are of substantial nature that came from the podium. From the floor of conference, they will be added, particularly in the area of the action plan. And where they are firming up the declaration, similarly, that will be done. So this is our ending part of the declaration. Conference welcomes the commitment by Frelimo, the Frente Libertario de Mozambique, Front for the Liberation of Mozambique, towards the next 8th Africa-Cuba Solidarity Conference in Mozambique. The conference reiterated its commitment to stand firmly with all oppressed people of the world, especially in Africa and South America, including the struggle against patriarchy, and vow to continue to work for peaceful resolutions to conflicts. In this regard, the conference adopted a special resolution on the genocide in Palestine. Conference pledged our unwavering support to and solidarity with the Cuban revolutionary government and people in defense of Cuba's fundamental right to self-determination, not least the right and pursuit of socialism as their chosen transformation and development trajectory. The 7th Africa-Cuba Solidarity Conference, held in South Africa, rises determined to continue and expand Africa's unwavering support and solidarity with Cuba. We make a clarion call to the peace and freedom-loving people, organizations, and governments of our continent to rally support for the Cuban people and to work tirelessly for an immediate end to the unilateral economic blockade and other imperialist actions against the people and government of Cuba. Thank you very much. Long live Cuba, long live!
Long live Frelimo, long live! No, Bala, it is again. Okay. Comrade Panda, Comrade. Comrade Andile, sorry, not Andile, Comrade Lungis. Okay, okay. Comrade, come in.
My name is Comrade Hilma Nicanor from the SWAPO Party, Namibia. I stand to second the adoption of the declaration, so I move.
Thank you. Osatu.
President, we stand to object to any objection to the adoption of the declaration. Thanks very much.
Hey, you wanted to kill people here. Okay, comrades, thank you very much. We now have a declaration. You can clap hands, right? And indeed, the roads, the next conference leads to Mozambique for our host, Frente da Libertação da Moçambique, in Portuguese. Frente da Libertação da Moçambique. Yes. Translated as the Mozambican Liberation Front, Frelimo. Now we're going to receive the addresses that is taking us home. The first one is by the government of Cuba, represented by His Excellency, the Ambassador of Cuba, Comrade Gonzalez. Please, your floor. Can we try again, comrades? That's all. Cuban people, lovely nation, here we are, far from home. We shall lead you, we shall love you, all the things you've done for us. Cuban people, lovely nation, far from home, we shall leave you.
Thank you, Program Director Conrad Mike. Well, with the approval of the declaration, I think the mission is accomplished. Now, ahead what we have is work, work, and work. Conrad Soli Africa Mopaila, General Secretary of the South African Communist Party. Dear Conrad Mbula Makaniani, First Deputy Secretary General of the African National Congress and Head of the International Relations Committee. Comrades, brothers and sisters, representatives, you see, technology, oh, okay. Representatives of the Cuban Solidarity Movement in Africa and from other parts of the world. Let me start giving our first thought and tribute to all friends of the Cuban revolutions who are not here with us anymore. To all who has fallen in the long path of our struggle. To all wonderful people of Cuba for their exemplary courage, loyalty, solidarity, and internationalist vocation, to their spirits of sacrifice and trust. We Cubans are deeply influenced by the legacy of the leader of the Cuban Revolution, Fidel Castro, from whom we learned to transform dreams into realities. Not to lose calm and confidence, to lift our spirits after great setbacks, to turn every challenge into victory, and to overcome adversities, no matter how unbearable they may seem. Resilience and unity has been the key to each of our victories. For the majority of us, it has been enormous privileges to live this long period of history, not only for being part of 65 years of resilience of the Cuban Revolution, but also for everything that we have been witnesses internationally. For all of us who have had the opportunity to attend this Africa-Cuba Solidarity Conference, there is no doubt we have been witnesses of the excellent event. Conrad Nobula, Mama Action. Reale Boja. Thank you. The strength of bonds between Cuba and African continent have been forged for more than 300 years since the first African slaves were brought to our country to work in the sugarcane plantations. I'm sure our special ties with Africa will remain strong for many generations to come, until the end of times. At that point, thousands of books will be written describing how Cubans and Africans face the common challenges together to the benefits of sons and daughters of their lands. The deep relation between Cuba and all our nations cannot be understood in their real magnitude without a full awareness of Africa's contribution to our nationality. Africa is an essential part of our identity. That's why we deeply appreciate our relation with the African countries. Comrades, it has been 3 days of productive discussions where the solidarity spirit has prevailed, focused not only on the solidarity between Cuba and the African continent, but also the solidarity with all the just and progressive causes of the world. In all messages were ratified not only the support to the Cuban Revolution, but also the support to the final liberation of the people of Palestine, the right of Western Sahara to its self-determination, our invariable position of support to the One China principle. But we cannot forget our solidarity with the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. That also faces sanctions for imperialism. These 3 days have proved that working together is the only way to articulate our efforts to achieve concrete actions of solidarity. This conference have also proved it is possible to accomplish concrete results in a short, middle, and long time. We believe the success of proposed action will be dependent on our political will and the monitoring systems we need to create to evaluate systematically the results of our joint action of plans. The last few days, we have danced, we have sung, we have laughed, we even cried. And we did all this together. It doesn't matter where we come from. It doesn't matter which language do we speak. All the people who have gathered in this room carry a piece of Cuba in their hearts and speak the most important language of love, the language of solidarity. I would like to congratulate the organizing team for all the hard work they have deployed in the last month in order to guarantee the success of these historical events. Especially, I would like to highlight the role of Conrad Nobula, Mama Action. and of course, Conrad Soli Mapaila, both of them, with their continued support to Cuba, express one more in their political will to organize such historical events. I would also like to recognize Father Michael Lapsley, who dedicated the case, and he has devoted the solidarity work with Cuba for being upholder of focus since the 19th. In Cuba, we usually say that imperialism will never block our hope. Then, I can assure Father Michael, those who wish to block your ideas never expected to watch them fly stronger than ever when they attend your assassination. Other names came to my mind like Arvin Botes, Obed Bapela, who is here, Kule Kani, a young guy who works a lot. But I'm afraid to forget to mention someone. So I will use the South African way of expressing that, or protocol observed, to recognize all of you. Our last appreciation and gratitude is for all of you, all the delegates who have been with us these days, and extended this appreciation and gratitude to all those friends of Cuba that for different reasons weren't able to be here without us in this conference. But they also have played an important role with their solidarity work in defense of the Cuban Revolution in their respective countries. I have always been fascinated by the African expression Ubuntu, Ugumuntu, Ugabantu. Which translates in a certain way into I am because you are. And there is no better feeling to prove Ubuntu than solidarity. The fact of sharing what you have, of defending those in need, of giving to others because otherwise you are not complete. Thousands of Cuban collaborators have served in Africa, and thousands of young Africans have been trained in Cuba. I want to express our gratitude to the African people for daily providing our countrymen that work in your countries with such humble and loving hospitality. Once again, thank you very much. But there is something more intangible, something very difficult to explain. It is the deep feeling of friendship and brotherhood between our people, which make us feel like home in African soil, which make us feel like brothers and sisters no matter where we are. Long live to the friendship between Cuba and Africa. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Un pueblo unido jamás será vencido. ¡Viva Cuba libre!
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for such moving closing remarks. Now we are going to the last one. bakhala ngayo emazweni, bakhala ngayo emazweni, bakhala ngayo emazweni, bakhala ngayo emazweni. I-ANC, 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 emazweni, 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 i-ANC, i-Communist Party, i-COSATU, i-ANC, bakhala ngayo emazweni, bakhala ngayo emazweni, bakhala ngayo emazweni, bakhala ngayo emazweni. I-ANC, 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 emazweni, 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 bakhala ngayo emazweni, bakhala ngayo emazweni, bakhala ngayo emazweni, bakhala ngayo emazweni. I-ANC, 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 bakhala, i-ANC, Mandla, Comrade DSG, DSG, please.
Amandla. Amandla. Long live the NC, long live. Long live the SACP, long live. Long live COSATU, long live. Long live Sanko, long live. Long live the spirit of Nelson Mandela and Fidel Castro, long live. Amandla. I was saying to Comrade Soli, Comrade Mike is taking us back, and surely the spirit of this conference is going to reignite the spirit of internationalism and solidarity, not only amongst delegates, but in our organizations and as well as where we live, because this has to be a people's program of action beyond organizations in South Africa and in Africa. Thank you very much, Program Director. When we came back from the 55th National Conference of the ANC, our first meeting as the officials was to reflect on the resolutions of the conference. And amongst other things that came out of that 3-hour session of the top 7 was that we have to reposition ourselves as the ANC and ensure that we renew ourselves in a manner that goes beyond just internal issues, but our responsibilities in the country, in the region, in the continent, and globally. We then retreated after that. The following day we met. When everybody had left, we had a session, and that's when we reflected on how we deal with committees of the National Executive Committee. we then resolved that issues of international relations are matters that have to be taken up and be championed by one of the officials so that on a day-to-day basis, those that are in office and have a responsibility reflect on them. And I can dare say, Comrade Soli, Comrade Mike, in every meeting of the National Executive Committee's officials, the issues of international relations, particularly matters of solidarity, have become an item. And we're here, just 12 months after that national conference, we have been able to elevate the struggles of the people of Western Sahara, Venezuela, Cuba, Eswatini, and any other nation that is being undermined by imperialism. We have put them on the map. Today we are in the World Court. We have resolved to support the people of Western Sahara and give them all the necessary support unconditional. In the same vein as people of the world supported us, we can't prescribe what we must provide in terms of support. We're given arms, we're given a home away from home, we're given social support, and therefore the Polisario Front deserves that unconditional support that befits the cause against Morocco. We have jealously, together with our sisters and brothers, and thanks, Comrade Soli, the South African Communist Party, our GS, that having had an opportunity of engaging with our comrades from Frelimo, we were bold enough to assign the ANC this responsibility. It's not the ANC, it's the South African Communist Party that came and said, the 7th Cuba Africa Solidarity Conference must happen, and you, the ANC, must make sure that it happens. And I really want to make everybody realize, therefore, that the renewal of the ANC can be seen through action. And we are here today because we have gone back to reconnect in action, and consistently so, with those that have been with us when it was not fashionable to associate with the African National Congress. There's a tweet put by somebody about what I said, that the ANC has been able to take up the struggle of the people of Palestine to a position that it has never been. And I then said, our next move now is to take the issues of the struggles of the people of Cuba to another level. Anyone who has been trained military and any soldier that has got political consciousness knows you don't attack your enemy by shooting everywhere. You must have a target. And you must make sure that you don't lose focus on that target. And those of us who have been trained, no gun can actually make a difference if it is not informed by what your own political consciousness and your ideology dictates as to what needs to be done. And hence, our support for Palestine, our support for Cuba, our support for Western Sahara. And today we are here having adopted this declaration, having spent hours and hours to come to White River in the city of Mbombela to recommit ourselves to the cause of the people of Cuba, of course led by ICAP, as we now are going to go back to our respective homes, we must also go and put time frames to this declaration, have an action plan that we should cost, and if the cost also comes with blood, comes with isolation, we must be prepared for that. We must be prepared for that because the world will never be comfortable with a united front against the tyranny of the United States. As the world has been very, very united on the cause for the people of Palestine, we are quite determined that this declaration, in the same vein as we have seen Comrade President Oliver Tambo crisscrossing the world, finally with the Harare Declaration that guided the way towards a negotiated settlement in South Africa, so shall this declaration be our guide towards the lifting of the blockade, sanctions, and the isolation of the people of Cuba. We will work together and make sure that we do not look forward to the 8th Cuba-Africa Solidarity Conference, but we must look forward to achievable outcomes of the 7th Cuba-Africa Solidarity Conference, so that by the time we get to the 8th conference, we should actually be counting the achievements out of what came out of this declaration. To our comrades from Cuba, your struggle is our struggle. We are Cubans. We shall, and it shall happen, ensure that as we have been able to make our parliament to adopt what then led to the South African government taking the Israeli government to the World Court, the ICJ, so shall it happen with the Cuban cause. Watch the space. We shall. We shall do that. We shall ensure that through the levers of authority and leadership that we have, the Cuban cause cannot be something of picketing, of demonstrating, of wearing T-shirts. It must be about changing things for the good and economic prosperity of Cuba. We will start with the State of the Nation address. We will come to the opening of Parliament. We will then move to the meeting of the Secretary Generals of the Liberation Movements that will be held in Tanzania. We will go to Russia at the International Conference on Colonialism and Imperialism. We will take this declaration to those platforms. We shall carry the Cuban cause, just as the Cubans have carried our cause and left Africa without any mineral from our shores, without any drop of oil, but they carried their dead bodies back to Cuba. We shall do that because we owe it to humanity. We owe it to humanity because even our own cause was a cause for justice and a cause for humanity. Let me thank the organizers, especially those that are not seen. You see, me and Soli and Mike, we just claim the limelight, but there are comrades that have been working throughout, even during the festive season, preparing for this conference. I want to thank them because these are people who, out of the love of what we are here about, they have made it. But let me single out young South Africans, Comrade GS, who are our interns on international relations. Those that were nurturing and are grooming, they have worked throughout and they are here even now, never been on a festive season. We want to thank those young people who today were quite sure that these are future leaders, not only in South Africa, but international representatives of true revolutionaries. Let me also thank those that have made it possible for the ANC and the organizing team to have the